Dungeons and Dragons is going to be teaming up, sort of, with another Wizards of the Coast property, Magic the Gathering, specifically the something. What is it? I know it's Zendikar. Zendikar. Something of Zendikar.
I forget the
Zendikar.
Plane, it takes place on the plane Zendikar. We've talked about the set. They just recently released the second visit to the world. The set called the Eldrazi with the Eldrazi.
Right.
And in essence, when they initially made this plane, and sort of the same with the second set, the idea was it's all about exploration and stuff. Like a lot of the cards involved finding new land and stuff, and even had they reprinted old lands and saying that was like finding a rare treasure and stuff.
Okay, that's
which
cool.
a lot of people freaked out about. And so they thought well, this makes perfect sense to make into a DM book. So they actually rewrote using the Dungeons and Dragons because that's what they own. So why not use that for their rules?
5th edition. And included if you wanted to be certain races, what were the creatures around and stuff, which I thought was really cool because one of the reasons, even though I don't play Magic as much, I still love the world and the story of Magic the Gathering. Mm-hmm. And I think that this is a really cool idea for them to do and actually release books. And I definitely think it should wait a few sets to be released. Well, as far as I know, they put out a free PDF.
Yes, this actually has a free PDF. I have it. I've looked through it.
I've glanced at it.
And they actually did a poll would you be interested in more books, hardcover? And of course I said yes, because I can definitely tell there are a couple planes I would love to. I would just buy for when we actually get into our own D&D campaign, just be use some of these for reference.
Well, what would you think about them making their own from the ground up Magic RPG instead of piggybacking on D&D?
It'd be interesting. I don't know if you really need to, because I feel like D&D is a good system. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It definitely would be interesting, especially what I would expect from them would be. The difference would be, I think, not as much in maybe the mechanics of dice rolling and things like that, but really the player setup. As you know, usually it's
the colors.
Initially in player setup, it would be you choose a race and a class. Mm-hmm. In this, I would think there would be 3 choices. You choose a race. But actually, first you choose a color. Maybe you can, if your DM lets you choose 2 colors or something. Or maybe you can find a way to spec later. Then you choose a race. Certain races can only exist in certain colors. Technically, I think, for example, humans can be everywhere. But cats, for example, only really appear in white and green, and so on and so forth. If you're a zombie, you're not white.
Okay.
And next, I think, would actually not be choosing a race. A class, but as plane, your plane of origin. And the idea there would be, because the planeswalkers are usually Magic, it's sort of each plane is like a game, first-person shooter or this. But the planeswalkers can take their rules, their Magic and rules, and go from plane to plane and still use them. So then it wouldn't be less to be about a class, but more about because I'm from Zendikar, I have much more. I can pull more from the earth or something. Or if I'm from Innistrad, I have more dark. Maybe you can holy or darkness spells and stuff.
That sounds cool. Yeah, I could see not a whole new RPG, but if they kind of tweaked it like that, like you're saying, like that, yeah, in that regard.
And then I think that would also be really cool from the perspective of for example, as a DM, we were talking about how you would design your world for your Dungeons and Dragons. Mm-hmm. We won't say much because we'll wait until we actually do a recording. But imagine if you had the option of making it so you could do, if you wanted to, make it there's the home plane that they can come back to, but then they have to jump to different worlds. So there's not the traveling time they're used to, and then you could be you could easily be one world, okay, you're in a world where vampires rule and something, and then jump to a world where it's only machines and stuff. Really, I think you could the DM could have a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's
even with the pre-made ones, or make their own plane. So I think that would provide. I think this Magic and as a role-playing game it's perfect. I think the Magic's been around for over 20 years. They have the lore to really.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened before.
No, considering that they own Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, that's why I was
it's
wow.
Chocolate and peanut butter.
No, then reading it, I read through this, and I really do suggest even if you're not gonna play through the world of Zendikar for this, and you're a DM, I do suggest you look at this because they have some new monsters and creatures and stuff. and rules which could really just bring that little bit extra.
Even for like being able to play as a vampire or whatever in a regular campaign is kind of cool.
No, I do really think and like you said, it's more important. It's free.
Right. There's no.
I'd be willing to
risk.
definitely pay for hard copies of these.
If there was like a real the size of one of their other books, that would be really cool. A campaign book for this. Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer. And they have such a huge base of players for Magic. It'd be a great way to get more people on board with D&D and vice versa by mixing those two things.
Yeah, and I think it's just such an easy step. I mean, we already know that there's a Magic board game already. We know we're getting a movie.
At some point, I'm pretty sure they're working on a movie.
I mean, we already know that they're really pushing. I mean, even you've seen it. A lot of the Planeswalkers. I'm sure you can even name a couple of them now at this point.
Glowbar, Bing Bong.
Well, we tried. But like the idea then of actually making your own Planeswalker, not just, oh, I'm a Planeswalker so I can play cards. Like the actual idea of, I think that would be really cool. And maybe even more interesting is if they had like recordings and they maybe Magic like chose someone and like chose a Planeswalker, someone made it into a card, like a contest. Like you could upload your gameplay.
That would be cool. Yeah, I would be into that. Maybe famous celebrities, maybe a Will Wheaton card.
I'm sure there is somewhere out there.
Yeah, there is. But anyway, you can download this right now. Like we said, it's free if you like D&D or Magic. It's cool just to check it out.
Yeah, we highly suggest checking it out.
We definitely do.